Phoenix's Super Smash Bros. Brawl Case Files, Episode 3, Turnabout Sighting.
I do not consider myself a bad fighter, even if I was not called back by Master Hand for another tournament. After all, I am one of the most powerful beings in the world. However, I learned my lesson long ago. I must be a protector for humankind. Nowadays, I am simply a mentor and a teacher to others. But everything I do comes at some price, and I am willing to pay it, no matter how large it may be. That is why I am here now. Mewtwo. That is who I am.
Detention Center.
Mewtwo?
I never heard of a name like that before.
Kind of strange, really.
No stranger than being called Phoenix.
Oh!
Hey, that voice. It was in my head.
Mine too.
Of course it is. I am telepathic, you see.
Telepathic?
It means he can read our minds, Maya. And he apparently speaks with his thoughts.
Huh? Really? What am I thinking right now?
You were thinking about having 3 large burger meals for lunch.
Is food all you think about, Maya?
Mewtwo.
So, you're telepathic, Mewtwo?
Yes, I am.
That's so cool! Did you train really hard for that?
No, I was born that way.
Really? That's not fair! I wanted to learn how to read minds!
So, you could spy on people?
No.
She's not telling the truth.
I didn't need a mind reader to tell me that.
The victim.
So, who's the victim in this trial?
It's a man named Ganondorf.
Ganondorf?
He sounds kinda rough.
He's even worse than he sounds. No idea is too heinous for this man.
Sounds like it's not the worst thing in the world for him to be gone.
Perhaps not, but I'm not the one who committed the crime.
The crime.
So, what exactly has happened? You didn't exactly fill me in very well with that letter.
I apologize. You see, I myself cannot write. I had to ask someone else to do it for me.
I understand. Please fill me in.
Of course. Ganondorf's body was discovered yesterday, laying against a wall in the attic of an old building in Annette. He was stabbed straight through the chest.
Whoa!
And you're the suspect in the case?
Yes. But although I detested the things Ganondorf has done, I am not the one who ended his life.
I see.
Unfortunately, I myself am not very filled in either. To learn more, I suggest you visit the crime scene itself.
That's what I figured. Thank you for your cooperation.
It was no trouble.
Examine the guard.
There's a guard blocking the door. I wonder, is he the only one who has guard duty with this room? Maybe he's just so good at his job that he doesn't need anyone else.
On it, Main Street.
This sure is a pretty quaint little town.
Yeah. Hard to believe any kind of crime could happen here.
Then again, looks can be deceiving.
You prove that in court every day, Nick!
I wonder if that was a compliment. Or an insult.
On it. Building attic.
Hey, back it up, pal.
Ah! Detective Gumshoe!
Oh, it's you, pal.
Working on another case? Huh, detective?
Well, you know me, pal. Always eager for the next case.
And of course his eagerness usually leads to disaster.
The crime.
So, detective, can you tell us anything about what happened here?
Now, pal, you know I can't tell you anything before the trial. But you're always getting it out of me, so why not, huh?
There's the Gumshoe I know.
Well, the murder happened the night before the last. Victim was stabbed with a sword straight through the chest area. Apparently he was still alive for a short time, but not for very long.
What makes you think that?
Well, because he never made it away from the wall.
The victim.
So the victim's name is Ganondorf?
Yep, a real piece of work, that guy.
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, we've been trying to pin Ganondorf on his crimes for years.
But how? Someone's beating you to it.
Right again, pal. There's nothing that sky's above doing.
Can't say much for the methodology, though.
Examine. Body outline.
This is where the police found Ganondorf's body.
It runs down the wall and across the floor a little.
Looks like he was leaning back against the wall when he died.
And the sword was just sticking out of him? Ugh.
Can't say I'm not glad it's just the outline and not the body.
Examine. Open chest.
Huh? What's this? It's a chest!
What's inside of it?
A cap, a baseball hat, a baseball bat, a yo-yo. It's just a bunch of junk.
Yeah, we couldn't figure out what it was doing out here either, pal.
That's not something to be smiling about, Gumshoe.
Chest, added to court record.
Examine. Bloodstains.
There are some bloodstains here, kinda close to the door.
That's the victim's blood, right?
Score 1 for the little lady. That's Ganondorf's blood, alright. I guess it's some spatter from when he was stabbed.
Something's off about that guess. I don't know what, but I'll figure it out later.
Examine. Window.
This is a pretty old window.
Yeah, it's covered in so much dust you can barely see outside. More to the point, it doesn't let much light in either.
Sure would have made it hard to investigate if it wasn't such a good day out.
Yeah, leave it to Gumshoe to say the weather is lovely on the day of the murder.
On it, Main Street.
Huh? Wait, who are you?
A little kid?
Hey, don't call me a kid! I'm covered in spike head over there!
Spiked head? Rotting kid?
The name's Link. People call me Young Link on account of the older me that runs around town.
Older you?
Yeah, he's got the same name as me, but he's all serious and stuff. No fun at all.
Sounds kinda like you, Nick.
Yeah, and young Link here is exactly like you.
Talk. Young Link.
So, do you hang out around here a lot, Link?
Yeah, it's the only place that has anyone my own age.
Well, it's always nice to play with people your own age.
Says the girl who hangs out with only me and a child who has yet to reach double digits.
Although, I haven't seen them in a while though.
Them?
My friends, Ness and Lucas.
Talk. Link.
So, there's another Link around here?
Yeah, he's like your bigger version of me. But he's always serious. And he almost never talks to anyone.
Sounds like he bugs you.
He does! He never wants to do anything fun! He's always training like he's afraid of being turned into an animal or something. I hope I don't end up like him.
If he's older than you, I don't think you have a choice.
Talk. Ness and Lucas.
Ness and Lucas. Those are your friends' names?
Yup, they're pretty good kids. Ness is really cool. He's a psychic and stuff.
A psychic?
Yeah, he can move stuff with his mind and cool things like that.
So, this Ness kid is telepathic? That sounds familiar.
And what about Lucas?
Something wrong? No, nothing's wrong. Lucas is kinda new here, so I don't know much about him. Even when he hangs out with Ness and me, he doesn't talk much.
I see. Talk. The crime.
Link, do you know what's happened here?
Yeah, some old dude got stabbed with a sword. That sounds so cool!
What a morbid little kid. Anyway, do you know anything about that person that was stabbed? Ganondorf?
I never met him, but the older me talked about him sometimes.
Anything interesting?
Not really. Just some stuff about only I can defeat Ganondorf, or something like that. He liked to change the subject whenever he talked about him.
Well, young Link, it was nice talking to you.
Yeah, well, I guess you guys aren't so bad either.
Well, aren't you nice?
Nah, I'm not nice. I'm tough.
I feel like I'm walking into a big mess. But I work best under pressure. I think. I only hope things can go well tomorrow. I don't have much to go on this time.
To be continued. Courtroom. Defendant lobby.
I always get a sinking feeling when I come in here with very little in my pocket.
Well, it doesn't seem like you had very many opportunities.
Yikes!
Let me guess, Nick. You forgot Mewtwo could read your mind, didn't you?
No. Well, maybe a little.
Despite the odds, Phoenix, I believe in you. If you try hard enough, you'll find a way to gather information.
Well, thanks. Well then, shall we begin?
Courtroom.
Court is now in session for the case against Mewtwo.
The defense is ready, Your Honor.
The prosecution is ready, Your Honor.
Edgeworth again, huh?
Has the prosecution prepared an opening statement?
We have. The prosecution intends to prove that defendant Mewtwo did violently stab and kill the victim Ganondorf at the crime scene located in Onet.
Very good. The prosecution may call their first witness.
Witness, state your name and occupation.
Sure thing, pal. Detective Dick Gumshoe, Chief Investigator of the local precinct at your service.
You were the one who was called when the body was discovered, correct?
Exactly.
And have you determined the cause of death?
Sure have. Right here. Says victim died from the stab wound, but the death wasn't right off the bat.
The court accepts the autopsy report into evidence.
Ganondorf's autopsy report added to court record.
Very good, Detective. Please begin your testimony.
Gotcha.
Witness testimony. Case details.
The victim was stabbed in the attic of this quaint, Onet home. Right now we're still running analysis on the murder weapon, but it looks like it's pretty obvious that it was the defendant. He summoned the victim, then stabbed him in cold blood. But it looks like it's pretty obvious that it was the defendant.
Hold it! And why is that, Detective?
Well, it's just, you know.
No? I don't know. Why don't you enlighten me?
Well, because the victim seems to have been summoned there by the defendant.
What should I do? Should I press further?
Press further. Drop it. Press further.
How could you just assume it was my client?
I hate to tell you this, pal, but we have proof.
What?
Indeed, a letter was found on the defendant's person when he was apprehended. If you read it, it should reveal everything.
It says, "Come to the old house in Onet. I have a deal to make with you." Ugh, my stomach hurts.
Letter added to court record.
Okay, Detective, continue your testimony.
Right now we're still running analysis on the murder weapon.
Hold it! And have you found out anything yet?
Nothing yet, fortunately. The murder weapon didn't have any fingerprints on it.
No fingerprints, huh?
Other than that, nothing wrong. The victim's blood is on it, and it's a sword.
But until the tests are finished, it can't be filed as evidence yet.
And I would have been too lucky for break for the notes. Ugh, man.
He summoned the victim, then stabbed him in cold blood.
Hold it! You can't be sure that's what happened.
But you can't just assume that it didn't happen, pal.
Besides, Wright, we didn't make that claim without sufficient evidence to back up the claim.
That's right. That letter.
The prosecution makes a very good point. This is all very compelling. I'm tempted to make my judgment here already.
No, you can't, Your Honor!
By all means, Your Honor, unless the defense has found something wrong with all these claims.
Huh? Well, Mr. Wright?
Did Edgeworth just give me a hint? Yes, Your Honor?
This is where things could end. Is there anything wrong with the claims so far?
There is something. Nothing's wrong. There is something.
Actually, there is something I'd like to point out.
Well, what is it?
Detective Gumshoe?
Yep, pal?
You claim that my victim wrote this letter and sent it to the victim to lure him into the crime scene, correct?
That's right.
I'm happy to say that is impossible!
Huh?
Impossible? What do you mean?
My client has confessed to me that he cannot write!
Hey,
He can't write?
Therefore, it is impossible for my client to have written that letter.
Objection. But how can we be so sure that it's a truthful claim? He could easily be lying.
Objection! Then run a test against his handwriting. That is, if my client can write you a sample to have in your database.
But, Mr. Wright,
Yes, Your Honor?
if your client wasn't the one who sent this letter, then who would have sent it to the victim?
Normally Edgeworth jumps at this opportunity. Still, I should keep going with this. The defense proposes that Link is the person who actually committed this murder!
If this person's attitude is true, it is understandable to suspect him.
Come on, Judge, give me a chance!
Very well. I've made my decision. For justice to be served, and for my own peace of mind, we cannot continue until we've heard from this new party. This court is adjourned, pending further investigation and the indictment of this person named Link.
Hold it! Your Honor, there's absolutely no need to suspend these proceedings.
I knew this was too good to be true.
Mr. Edgeworth? You mean,
I've already had Link in this building, ready if he was needed.
you do? Then bring him in.
Of course, Your Honor.
Tough break, Nick.
Are there any other kinds in my case?
Witness, state your name and occupation. Witness.
My name is Link. My occupation is swordsman.
Now, witness, you've been accused of committing the murder of Ganondorf. Please explain to the court how it could not be you.
Alright.
Witness testimony. Why I'm not the one.
Although I'm not surprised he's dead now, I'm not the one who committed the crime. I had no means to do so anyway.
Hold it! You had no means to do so? Exactly what do you mean by that?
Before the crime happened, I lost my sword.
Your sword?
The witness is a swordsman. What else would he carry, right?
Why do I just feel like I was stabbed with one?
Wait a minute. Isn't the murder weapon being examined a sword?
Why it is. Isn't it, Your Honor? For once the judge caught on without me prodding him. This isn't looking good for you, witness. Perhaps you should just confess.
Objection! Jumping the gun a little bit, aren't we, right?
What?
The witness's testimony was very vague. I'm sure that if we got a more detailed testimony, things will all be clear.
I agree. He has been quite vague.
When are they not?
Witness, please give us a more detailed run of what you were doing that day.
Okay.
Witness testimony. What I was doing.
That entire day, I'd been looking for my sword. Just like I had been for the past few days. But without my sword at my disposal, why would I call him into an empty room?
One could assume it would remove any obstacles in your way.
But the fact is that whether the room is empty or not doesn't matter. A murder could be committed in either type of room.
The prosecution does have a point.
That may be, but I definitely spotted something off with that testimony.
Nick, what do you think?
There's something about this testimony.
Huh?
It seems like it's almost too lacking in detail. There's definitely something going on here.
I know you'll find out, though.
That entire day, I'd been looking for my sword.
Hold it! You'd be looking the entire day? Isn't that a little hard to believe?
Objection! Right, the witness is a professional adventurer, whose sword is his most prized possession. Do you really think that searching around a small city for his sword will be all that tough?
Well, it might be for you, Nick.
Do they really think I'm that weak?
Just like I had been for the past few days.
Hold it! You've been searching for several days? Exactly how long ago did you lose your sword?
I would say perhaps 5 or 6 days ago.
That would seem to give him a solid alibi. Very well, please continue.
But without my sword at my disposal...
Hold it! Is your sword really all that important?
Of course it is! What's a swordsman without a sword, huh?
Just a man, I guess.
Right, I would have expected even you would have known the answer to a question like that.
Well, I guess it does hurt to ask.
Why would I call him into an empty room?
An empty room, huh?
Yeah, that's what the attic is. Just an empty room.
I'm not so sure about that. Considering I discovered this chest inside the attic, I can hardly call a room with a chest this size empty. Would you?
Witness, what do you have to say to this?
I know the room was empty when I went there before.
So, you've been there before. The defense requests that the witness testify about the time they visited this room.
I agree. Witness, please testify about this event.
Witness testimony. When I visited that room.
It was several days ago, before I had lost my sword. I visited that room one day, and it was basically empty. I don't understand why they like to go play there every day. Before I had lost my sword.
Hold it! So, it wasn't very long ago your sword was taken, was it? It took him that long to figure out? Are you kidding me?
And when you got there?
I don't understand why they like to go play there every day.
Hold it! They? Wait, who are they?
Young Link and his friends.
Young Link? Ness? And Lucas too? Your Honor, the defense requests that the witness add this fact to the testimony.
Agreed. Witness, please revise your testimony.
I visited that room one day, and it was basically empty.
Hold it! Why specifically were you going there?
I was asked to go there.
You were asked to go there?
Yeah, I was asked to go there.
I guess being asked there doesn't seem too strange. Depends on who asked him. Hold it! You said they like to play there every day?
Yes, every day at some point, they're playing there in that attic.
Mr. Wright, is there something important about those children's play areas?
There is nothing important. There is something important. There is something important.
The testimony just now is very crucial to the event at hand.
It is?
Well, then, right. I'm sure you can elaborate this claim, can't you?
What? Of course I can!
Then please enlighten us, Mr. Wright. What is the importance of the children's existence?
The time of appearance. The disappearance of the witness's sword. Their location during the witness's visit. Their location during the witness's visit.
It is the fact of where they were doing the witness's visit.
What do you mean?
They were inside the room when the witness visited the room? That would mean the room wasn't empty, wouldn't it?
Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I was just thinking about whether or not your head is empty or not.
Looks like I jumped too soon. But wait, Your Honor! The real reason the children are important is...
The disappearance of the witness's sword.
It all has to do with the disappearance of the witness's sword!
What do you mean?
Witness, think back to the last time you visited, and the children were there. Did they know you were there? Did you speak to them at all?
Yes. Yes, I did.
And was it soon afterwards that you noticed your sword was missing?
It was. It was only a few hours later.
I thought so.
Right, where are you going with this?
It's simple, Edgeworth. Somehow, the children stole the witness's sword from him!
What?
They took his sword?
Young Link is a young child with a perch on for acting tough. I'm certain he'd think it would be exceedingly enjoyable to take Link's sword from him!
Of course.
But what does this have to do with the victim's murder?
Allow me to explain. At this point, I'm sure he will assume that the weapon currently having tests done on it is Link's sword. However, Link has just realized that soon after visiting the children, who undoubtedly asked him to come in, his sword was missing.
How could I not think of that?
I'm sure those three kept it a secret from anyone else, and played with that sword every day. Which stands to reason that if they played there every day with that sword, then they were probably connected to the murder somehow!
Huh? Are you serious? Today we have learned some startling new facts. The knowledge that the murder weapon was stolen from the prime suspect, that isn't the defendant, coupled with the fact that the thieves are children who are likely to be connected somehow.
It's hard to imagine, but entirely possible, Your Honor.
Indeed. As such, I cannot justify making a ruling right now. Court is suspended pending further investigation.
To be continued. Wright and Co-Law Office.
Well, you managed to dodge that bullet.
Yeah, but now I have to prove that the kids are connected somehow.
Right. Young Link, Ness, and Lucas, right?
Yeah, problem is, we've only even met one of those kids.
Then maybe we should see Mewtwo. He might know something.
She's got a point.
Detention Center.
Phoenix. I take it you are here to ask me about the children, are you not?
Wow, did you read his mind?
No, I gathered that from his implications in the trial.
Oh.
Still, you hit the nail on the head. I'm going to have to ask you a few questions. Is that okay?
Oh, very well.
Today's trial.
I must admit, you're very forceful in the courtroom, Phoenix.
That's how Nick is. He's a doormat everywhere else, though.
Okay, I'll remember next time that you want me to buy you some burgers.
Maya, I hope you're not hoping for a treat later today.
Huh?
Anyway, we went in with almost nothing at our disposal. I get the distinct feeling I'm not going to get a lot more to go on anyways.
That's entirely possible. There doesn't appear to have been much of a trail left.
The children.
So, you suspect the children are connected to this somehow?
That's right. If they really played there every day, and if young Link really stole Link's sword, then
It's possible they were present, or at least involved in some way, correct?
The note.
about that note Gumshoe showed us?
You're wondering if it was really found on my person?
Was it?
Yes. When they came and arrested me, they discovered the letter in my abode.
But you and I both know that there's no way you could have written that letter. You've admitted to as much.
Indeed. The police even investigated me on that subject. They had no sample of my handwriting, and when they asked me to write a few things, I couldn't even begin.
Well, that'll save us the trouble from doubting the claim's credibility.
Precisely.
Wait, if you didn't write that letter, then who did? And how does it connect to this case? Psychic locks, and a lot of them.
So, you can see them, can't you, Phoenix?
So wait, you know about these things?
I am well versed in various methods of mental subjects, including those that are borderline spiritual. But I cannot simply remove these locks myself. If you want this information, I'm afraid you are going to have to pry it from me. If you can.
I see.
Onette Street.
Hey, get back here, pal.
No way, Scruffy! What's going on?
Sounds like Gumshoe's trying to investigate one of the kids. And the kid doesn't want to be investigated.
Try catch me, Scruffy man!
Wait until I catch you, pal.
Great, they're running straight for the crime scene.
Onette. Building attic.
Out of my way!
Whoa, hey, stop!
Nick, look out!
Ah! My head. My hair. Ah!
Ow. What? Talk about a rough stop.
Nick, you okay?
Okay. I feel like a train just hit me.
Look, I'm sorry, okay, pal? I had to catch that little kid.
Well, it looks like you're a little behind now.
Huh? No, great. No, I'll never catch you.
The trial.
You know, pal, you didn't seem as focused as usual today.
Huh? What do you mean?
Well, pal, normally you focus on one person and keep attacking him until Mr. Edgeworth had to shut you down.
Is that really what it seems like?
But this time, the whole trial was jumping from suspect to suspect.
Now that I think about it, we did change subjects awfully quick this time.
The weapon.
So, Gumshoe, have you finished the test on the weapon?
Sure have, pal. There's not much to go on, though.
Not much to go on?
The weapon was determined to be Link's, but there's no fingerprints on it.
That is total BS.
About the only thing on it is the victim's blood straight up to the hilt.
All the way to the hilt?
Well, that's pretty gruesome.
Don't I know it, pal?
Link's sword added to court record. The kids.
So, Gumshoe, have you found all the kids yet?
Well, pal, I've only been able to locate that little guy in green so far.
But the other two live around here, don't they? They shouldn't be that hard to find, should they?
Well, we've learned a little bit about them, but we need to actually find them before we can learn any more.
Right. Care to share what you know about the others so far?
You'll get it out of me one way or another, won't you, pal?
That's how we work.
Ness and Lucas.
So, what have you found about Ness and Lucas, Detective?
Well, that Ness kid has been out of town for a little while. Apparently he only just get back. We haven't managed to find him yet.
Uh-huh. And what about the other one, Lucas?
Well, you see...
Is something wrong, Gumshoe?
Well, we haven't really learned anything about Lucas.
Wait, what?
Lucas hasn't been living here for very long. To top it off, hardly anyone knows anything about him.
So he didn't have any friends?
Well, I wouldn't go that far, pal. We hung up with young Linkn and Ness a lot, so they're more likely to know something about him.
But do you ever think they'll let you know anything?
Never know until you ask, pal. Well, I'd love to stay and chat, but I gotta find that kid.
Good luck, Detective!
I've never needed it before, pal. Yeah.
I'd say he's needed it a bunch of times.
Onette Street.
Psst! Huh? What's that? Psst! That!
Well, why would you ask me what that is?
Sheesh, will you just answer me already? Ah!
Ah!
Serves you right for ignoring me.
It's you, young Link.
Hey, wasn't Detective Gumshoe chasing you?
Yeah, but I hid behind the building. And that guy didn't even look back when he ran off.
That's Gumshoe for you. Never looking back on things. Never paying attention to what's in front of him either, for that matter.
Ness and Lucas.
So, young Link, what do you know about Ness and Lucas?
My friends? Why do you ask?
You see...
My client's been a little worried about them. I've just come by to make sure everything's okay.
Hey, good lie, Nick.
Well, I'm willing to bet it's kind of true.
What are you guys whispering about?
Nothing. So, will you tell us?
Well... Okay, I'll tell you what I know about each of them.
About Ness.
So, what can you tell me about Ness?
Well, he's been around here longer than I have, so he kind of showed me the ropes when I came around.
He sounds like a nice kid.
Oh, he is. He's nice and he's really cool, because he's got these awesome psychic powers.
Psychic powers? I wonder if he's related to will powers.
Nick, you know what he means.
Oh my god, how is it that everyone can read my mind now?
Actually, Ness spent a lot of time with Mewtwo, you know?
Huh? Wait, what?
He did?
Yeah. Want me to tell you about it?
About Lucas.
What do you know about Lucas?
Not much.
But don't you hang out with him?
Well, it's more like he hangs out with us. I almost always see him with Ness. But he never
what?
He never talks much. He always just follows us and watches what we do. He seems really attached to Ness, though.
Huh.
And sometimes he's just not there with us. And I don't see him at all.
You don't see him? Any idea where he is?
None. You'd have to ask Ness.
I figured as much.
Mewtwo and Ness.
So, you say you spent a lot of time with my client?
Yeah, every other day, I think.
Do you know why?
I'm totally not sure, but I think Mewtwo was teaching Ness.
Teaching him?
Uh-huh. Ness was a psychic, and so was Mewtwo. I don't know how it started, but I guess Mewtwo was helping them get even better with the psychic stuff.
So, Mewtwo was teaching Ness. Didn't know that.
Link's sword.
So, I heard you guys figured out I took his sword.
Yeah, we did.
to try it.
But why didn't you give it back?
Did you see how mad he was when he lost it? I was scared he'd hurt me.
And then it got used in a murder.
Hey, don't look at me like that. I didn't do it.
No. I always left it in the same spot every day. But then, one day, when we came there, it was gone.
I can tell he's not lying. So the sword wasn't there before the murder? Then where did it go?
Well, I better get going before the detective comes back. Okay, thanks for your help.
Wait!
What?
Do you happen to know exactly where Ness or Lucas is right now?
I can't tell you where Lucas is right now, but I can point out where Ness is.
Really?
Yeah, he sometimes relaxes in that field right behind the house. He's probably there.
Okay, thanks.
Onet, building backyard.
Huh? Who are you?
Hello, my name is Maya, and this is Phoenix Wright. Everyone calls her Nick, though.
Actually, it's only you, Perlis and Larry.
Oh, I've heard about you. My name's Ness.
So, Ness, do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
I don't see why I would.
Ness.
So, Ness, what can you tell us about yourself?
About me? Well, I've lived here for a couple of years. I enjoy playing with my toys. Oh, and I'm telekinetic.
That means you can move things with your mind, right?
Yeah.
We had heard that about you. By the way, do you know anything about what's going on right now?
Well, I've heard about it.
You've heard about it?
Well, you see, I've been away for a while.
You've been away?
Mewtwo.
There's no way Mr. Mewtwo did any of that stuff.
I know. That's why I took this case.
I trust him. I know him. He wouldn't.
He's really important to you, isn't he?
Of course. He helped me get better with my telekinesis.
So, it's true? That Mewtwo has been teaching you?
Yes. In fact, after I passed all my tests, he gave me this.
Huh? What's that?
It's called a Franklin badge. Mr. Mewtwo said that it has its own psychic powers, and that if I wore it, all my troubles would just bounce away.
Aww, that's a nice sentiment.
I bet that badge might prove something.
Franklin badge added to court record. You were gone?
So, you're saying that you were gone when everything happened?
Uh-huh.
But where did you go?
Well, this is kind of embarrassing, but
Huh?
I went to get an invitation to a party.
Party?
Yes, it's called Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I went on the same bus that had 2 people on it. Their names were Jigglypuff and Lucario. I even wrote everybody a letter.
So, how did you get back?
I just got back today.
I guess that rules him out.
Lucas.
What do you know about Lucas?
Lucas?
We've heard he's really quiet, but he likes to hang out with you.
Lucas is really nice. I think he looks up to me for some reason. Maybe it's because
Because
I've been here so long, and Lucas is really new. He hasn't even learned about everybody here.
But he was with you a lot.
Yeah?
Is there any other reason he would become so attached to you? I don't think I needed to be a psychic to see that coming. I wonder if Ness knows about these too.
Examine. House.
The house place of the crime stands towering above the field. The open window is probably the only reason the crime scene has breathable air.
Examine. Trees.
Several large trees in the distance reach towards the sky. I imagine this building could have been built solely to get a view of the forest.
Examine. House corner.
Huh? What's this in the grass here?
It's a letter.
Hey, that's the letter I wrote to everyone when I left.
This might help us out later.
Ness's letter added to court record.
Take that!
Ness, is there something about Lucas you're not telling us?
What are you talking about? I told you everything that's important.
Did you really?
Of course I did.
Really? because I think there's something that connects you both.
Really? Then what is it that connects us both?
Well, for starters, you're both friends with young Link, aren't you?
That doesn't matter. Lots of people are friends with young Link. Besides, Lucas didn't talk to him much. Maybe they weren't friends.
Looks like if I want to get through this, I'm gonna have to show him, someone, or something that would have a stronger connection with them. This is something that shows an even better connection, Ness.
Mr. Mewtwo?
Yes, Mewtwo knows both of you. He seems to hold you both in regard. We already know why he holds you in... esteem. But what about Lucas?
What about him?
This is it. I've been wondering about Lucas's connection to all this for some time. Looks like I'm going to get to the bottom of this really soon. There's got to be a special reason for him being so connected with you two.
Show me!
Huh?
You need to prove it. Show me something that would explain why he'd be connected to both of us. That's...
The Fricklin badge that Mewtwo gave you? You say you got this when you passed your test when Mewtwo was teaching you telekinesis, correct?
Yeah.
Well then, it just seems to me like Mewtwo would only take an interest in someone if they could help them with their special abilities. And the reason Lucas would connect to you, Mewtwo, and the Fricklin badge is simple. In the end, Lucas is Teleconnecto! Wellness.
Are you sure you're not a psychic, Mr. Wright?
Unlock successful. Lucas.
You're right. Pretty soon after he arrived, I learned that Lucas was telekinetic, like me and Mr. Mewtwo. He wasn't sure how to handle his powers yet, so I told him about Mr. Mewtwo's training. Mr. Mewtwo has been teaching him since.
And has this helped you?
Uh-huh. Lucas was getting much better. But the problem was, Lucas was very shy, very timid. He didn't want anyone besides me and Mr. Mewtwo to know about it yet. Not until he was ready.
Had he passed his test though?
Mr. Mewtwo, just the day before I left, told me that he had just passed his tests. I didn't get a chance to congratulate Lucas, though.
So, Lucas passed his test. And undoubtedly got his own Franklin badge.
And since I got back, I haven't seen Lucas since.
You haven't seen him since?
No, it's like he just vanished.
Well, thank you for the information, Ness. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome? Mr. Wright, please don't tell anyone about Lucas's secret, okay? I still don't know if he's ready.
Okay. I won't tell anyone. If I don't have to, that is. But you have to understand that if push comes to shove, I'll have to reveal this.
Oh.
So, all this time, Lucas has been another student of Mewtwo's. At Telekinetic.
Telekinetic? Maya? But the point does stand, and apparently nobody knows what happened to him.
What a mystery.
But I think it's one that we can solve. We just have to be meddling kids. Well, so to speak. Come on, Maya. There's someone we have to talk to.
Detention Center.
Looks like you've gathered some new information.
That's right, I did. And now, I've come for a little more. I think it's time to see just how everything connects together. And it all started with that note.
Very well. I warn you, however. You know I won't give you the information easily.
I'm prepared to struggle, though.
Then, let's begin, shall we, Phoenix Wright?
So, this note was found on your person, wasn't it?
Indeed it was.
But you've admitted you can't write! So you can't be the one who wrote the note.
It would seem that way, wouldn't it?
And if that's the case, there's only one person I can think of that would! Take that! I've been wondering how this note connected so deeply to the case and the victim. and my mind always came back to the same conclusion.
Which would be?
This note wasn't written to Ganondorf, but Ganondorf wrote it to someone else! I am right, aren't I, Mewtwo? This letter wasn't written for him, but he wrote it to lure someone else, didn't he?
Well done, Phoenix. Of course, that only solves one part of the mystery. It opens up many more questions, doesn't it? You may have gotten one step closer, but you need to probe deeper. So tell me, who would Ganondorf lure there that had a motive to kill him?
Take that! The most logical conclusion in this case is that Ganondorf would be calling Link there.
Because of their bad blood between them, correct?
Right. Given Ganondorf's apparent personality, making some kind of deal with his enemy wouldn't be beneath him. And Link would undoubtedly use this opportunity to get closer to him, given that only he can defeat Ganondorf.
So, you're saying that the intended recipient of the note was Link?
No. You see, as likely as that scenario is, it's not what happened. Because something happened that would force Link to avoid going! Take that! Link has a very good reason for not having gone. If he was the intended recipient. You see, quite a few days before the crime even happened, Link's most precious item was stolen from him.
You mean...
Right. His sword. Now, Mewtwo, you're smart enough to know the answer to this question. Would Link really need an enemy without impelled protection? I think not.
That makes sense. You're doing well, Phoenix. Still, my mind is made up.
That's fine, but you understand I have to keep going, too.
Of course, but let me ask.
Take that! May I present the one who stole Link's sword? Young Link!
Yes, I believe I've been told about it.
Then you know he's just a child. And no matter how much he tries to act tough, young Link only has the strength of a child. So tell me, would a child have a strength to thrust a sword this big down to the hilt in someone with a build like Ganondorf's?
It would seem unlikely. But with Link missing his sword, and young Link unable to use it the way it was, that leaves no suspects, does it not?
Mewtwo, you're slipping. You know as well as I do that there's another person. Someone who knew about young Link taking the sword, and someone who's skilled at a technique that doesn't need one's hands.
You're not...
Oh, I am! There's another person that could have been involved in this crime! Take that!
Ness! No!
Don't try to avoid the point I'm making, Mewtwo.
Your point?
Ness is well known for being your student in telekinesis. In fact, some time ago, he passed your tests, didn't he? Wouldn't this prove that he's achieved great control over his own powers, by any chance?
You... cease this!
I'm sorry, but I can't. You seem to be trying to protect him pretty earnestly.
Of course I am. It is a teacher's job to protect his student.
Because I know that there's no way that Ness is the culprit! Take that! As you can see by this letter, Ness was nowhere near the crime scene for a few days. In fact, he didn't return until after the crime was committed.
You were leading me on, Phoenix, Wright.
Yes, I was.
And it was successful. It seems you've gotten exceedingly close to the truth.
Yes, it does.
But... I just can't tell you.
That's okay. Your attitude earlier was a big enough clue, because I know you were protecting someone! You don't have to say or think a word. I know you're protecting the one person everyone knows little about! Take that!
Lucas!
Exactly. Throughout all my questions since the case started, there was someone that nobody really knew anything about. Someone I could never get crucial information about, or even find them to get information from them at all. Even you have to admit that it's incredibly suspicious, when considering he's linked with the 3 children who made their own personal playhouse. And then there's the fact that young Link had stolen the sword, which then vanished. He's perpexulating as well.
But that doesn't mean a thing. It's all simply coincidence. Lucas isn't important to the case.
You're still clinging to this last little barrier so tightly. I'm sorry, but this next choice I make will have to shatter it. Mewtwo, I told you that you've already proven through your attitude, but there's only one reason you would protect him this much.
Lucas is setting you up. You are Lucas's father. Lucas committed the crime. Lucas committed the crime.
You are a teacher, Mewtwo. And what's a teacher's job?
To protect their students.
Exactly. That's what you're doing right now. Protecting a student. And the only reason I could think of you being so ardent in protecting Lucas and trying to avoid suspicion towards him is if Lucas committed the crime! You've seen my thoughts. You've seen my knowledge. You've seen my certainty. I'm right, aren't I, Mewtwo?
Unlock successful. The note.
One day, from out of the blue, Lucas came running to me, clutching that note and crying rather hard. It took some time, because even looking at his thoughts, they were so jumbled that I couldn't get any information. Eventually, he calmed down, and I learned what happened.
Somehow, Ganondorf had called them.
It appears so. I still can't see how or why, but he did. Lucas had never learned of Ganondorf's dark reputation, so he didn't think anything of it. But once he got there,
the meeting turned sour, didn't it?
It seems so. They got into a heated argument, and Ganondorf lunged at Lucas. Mere seconds later, Ganondorf was dead, pierced by the sword stolen from Link.
And Lucas came to you, because you were the only person important to him that he could reach.
Precisely. It was at that point I made up my mind to protect him. I won't explain every detail on how I'm keeping him safe, but I will say that I seized the note from him and attempted to hide it. Unfortunately, the police are quick to find scenes and then conduct searches. That's when they found the letter and assumed I did it.
And then you summoned me.
Indeed, but I had no idea that asking you to prove me innocent would end up dragging Lucas back into this. I was hoping there was some way you would find something that proved it wasn't him. A foolish dream.
Mewtwo.
That's all we need to know. Mewtwo, come on. Maya, we have to get prepared for tomorrow's trial.
Nick.
Phoenix Wright. A teacher has to protect his students. You'll find out just to what extent tomorrow.
To be continued. The next day.
Well, Nick, it's court time.
Yeah,
Are you going to be calling Lucas into question?
I have to. It's what everything seems to be pointing to.
Right. It seems really sad though.
Sometimes the truth is never pretty, Maya.
Sometimes the truth is never pretty. Never would have expected something so poetic from you, of all people.
What do you mean? I'll be finding that out?
Well, normally, I'd let this come out in the courtroom, but I feel you have a right to know.
Know what?
That your client has confessed to the murder.
What?!
Courtroom.
Court is now in session for the trial of Mewtwo. But as the prosecution had explained to me, the defendant had just recently confessed the crime.
This appears to make your job much easier, doesn't it, Your Honor?
Yes, it does. I'm tempted to set my verdict right at this moment.
How could this happen? If Mewtwo's confused, then there's nothing I can do!
I reached my decision. This court sees no reason to further these proceedings. This court finds the defendant...
Objection! Unfortunately, Your Honor, I can't let you send down a verdict just yet.
Mr. Edgeworth? What is the meaning of this?
Your Honor, yesterday's trial allowed the defense to spread quite a large amount of doubt in the defendant's direction. But even if the defendant has admitted their crime, it seems only natural that we hear the details of the crime from their own mouths, merely to clean up all the loose ends.
You make a compelling point.
Edgeworth.
Very well. Bring the defendant to the stand to testify.
Defendant, you understand the implications of your confession?
I do.
Whoa! Who's in my head? Am I being controlled by an alien?
Have no fear, Your Honor. The defendant is telepathic and communicates with thought.
Oh, I see. Well, I just hope he can adequately think his story to us.
Don't worry, Your Honor. I am quite eloquent when it comes to important matters. And you should know that they increased the price of the burgers you're thinking of getting.
That's good. But wait, how did you know I was going to...
Telepathic, Your Honor.
I see. Defendant, please begin your testimony.
Witness testimony. Details of my crime.
I had gotten tired of Ganondorf's various dark deeds, so I hatched a plan to finally end his life once and for all. Sending him the letter that was found on my person, I called him to the building in Arnett, and it was there that I ended his horrible existence. I had gotten tired of Ganondorf's various dark deeds.
Hold it! His various dark deeds? Like what, specifically?
Just beginning to tell you, Wood.
Objection! Be a monumental waste of this court's time.
What?
Right, we are not here to listen to a complete background on the witness. We are here to find the truth, and if the defendant says his motive was outrage and injustice, then we will try him as a vigilante, if necessary.
Please continue your testimony, defendant.
So I hatched a plan to finally end his life once and for all.
Hold it! And this plan, it involved...
Everything that has been seen up until this point. The note, the weapon.
And as a result, the crime scene itself.
Precisely. One of my more gruesome moments, I would say.
Let's just continue the testimony, okay?
Sending him the letter that was found on my person.
Hold it! But you can't write! You admitted that to me personally!
Objection! Wright, the defendant originally pleaded not guilty and is now claiming that was a lie. What makes the possibility that he lied to you so unlikely?
Precisely, Phoenix Wright. How can you be so sure I wasn't lying to you?
No, Mewtwo! I know you're telling the truth. You have already been declared guilty if not for that fact!
And after sending in the letter?
I called him to the building in Arnett.
Hold it! And that would be the crime scene later discovered, correct?
Naturally.
But why there?
I simply want to call him to a place where we wouldn't be seen.
You see, Wright? Simple as that.
Was that hesitation I heard?
And it was there that I ended his horrible existence.
Hold it! So you're really admitting you killed him?
Of course. What else would that statement mean?
Well, Wright, that statement does seem rather cut and dry, doesn't it?
What should I do? Should I press this point further?
Don't ask. About the stabbing. About the location. About the location.
Why don't you tell us a little more about the place you chose to end the victim's life?
What precisely are you wanting to know?
Just anything of interest about the room. Like, what it contained, its condition, you know, that kind of stuff.
I don't see how that helps anybody. That room was empty when I committed the deed.
Huh? Your Honor, could I have the last statement added to that testimony?
Well, I don't see why not, but I don't see why either.
That room was empty. At least until I left his body there.
Objection!
Mr. Wright, why did you force us all into a dramatic silence?
Sorry, Your Honor. I was just so relieved at finding that contradiction.
Contradiction, you say?
Exactly, Your Honor. My client has just professed the idea that the room was entirely empty when he apparently committed the crime. But, as proven before, that's very wrong.
You mean?
Correct! Remember this chest we discovered not that long ago? Do you remember where it was found?
At the crime scene.
Exactly! Which means the room wasn't empty at the time. And the only reason my client wouldn't know that is if he'd never been to that room!
You have a point, Mr. Wright. This is a rather large chest. It would be nearly impossible to miss it.
Alright, I think I've managed to get out of this hole.
Right, if you're thinking you've managed to get out of the hole you've dug yourself, then think again. It's entirely possible that the defendant never even noticed the chest, because he was attacking and fighting with the victim.
Huh? No! Ugh!
That's possible, too.
And that's what happened too. I struggled with him.
Then let's hear it. Some testimony about this apparent fight?
Fighting to the very end. At least you're consistent, right?
Witness testimony. Fight with the victim.
As soon as he realized what I was doing, he lashed out. I managed to keep away from him until I struck the deadly blow by launching the sword into his body, pinning him to the wall. As soon as he realized what I was doing, he lashed out.
Hold it! So it wasn't as simple as you had hoped it would be.
No. In my haste to do the deed, I lost my subtlety, so he saw and attacked me.
This all sounds rather brutal to me.
The story will be done with soon enough, Your Honor. Continue with your testimony, defendant.
I managed to keep away from him until I struck the deadly blow.
Hold it! So, in the end, you didn't receive a single wound?
No. I was blessed with good fortune, it seems.
More like you were blessed with never having been there. The victim doesn't look like the guy who gets in a fight. It doesn't hurt the other one at all.
In any case, please tell the court about the deadly blow in question.
By launching the sword into his body, pinning him to the wall.
Hold it! So, you threw the sword into him?
Yes, I did.
But there weren't any fingerprints on the sword, were there?
The defendant is telekinetic, Your Honor. Undoubtedly, he lifted the sword with his mind and threw it in the same way.
How strange the methods of the mind are.
You prove that every day, Your Honor. You and Gumshoe. And the force of this throw sent him to the wall?
Yes, where it stuck him to it, the blade protruding from his chest.
I'm still trying to get over the fact that my client has confessed.
Nick, this is no time to daydream.
I know, I'm not completely sure, but I think a part of this testimony might not match up with the evidence.
Then, you know what to do, right?
Of course! I just hope my hunch is right.
By launching the sword into his body, pinning him to the wall.
Objection! Thanks for the boost in confidence, Mewtwo.
What are you talking about?
After spotting 2 contradictions in a testimony, I'm sure I'm much more confident.
You spotted another contradiction?
Take a look at Link's sword, Your Honor.
The murder weapon?
There's quite a lot of blood, isn't there?
All the way up to the hilt. Even now, my client has said after being stabbed, the victim was pinned to the wall, the blade projecting from his chest. But if that was true, then how come there was no blood all the way to the hilt?
You're right. That just doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does, Your Honor. I was lost in my fury. He was dead the moment I stabbed him. But I wasn't finished, So, using my powers, I easily plunged the blade deeper until I couldn't plunge it further.
Mr. Wright, are there any problems with that idea?
Mewtwo says he plunged the sword further into the already dead Ganondorf. Is there anything wrong with this statement?
There is something wrong. There is nothing wrong. There is something wrong.
There's something monumentally wrong with that idea, Your Honor. Just have a look at the autopsy report, and you'll see.
It says he died a short while after the wound was inflicted.
Precisely, Your Honor. I seriously doubt that Ganondorf, still alive, would allow Mewtwo to plunge the blade in further.
Objection. The victim was severely weakened by the blow. It wouldn't be hard to continue plunging the blade into the body.
Objection! Even if that was true, my client was supposed to have been in a fight with the victim. He would have just been as exhausted.
Just what's going on here?
It's simple, Your Honor. The only explanation as to why my client wouldn't be so wrong on so many details is... he didn't commit the crime! In fact, he's...
Stop right there, Phoenix!
Huh?
I know where you're going with that. And if you don't cease your train of thought, I'll seize it for you!
Now, we can't have the defendant threatening its own attorney.
It matters not. I have something to say that will prove beyond any doubt that I committed this crime.
Then keep us in suspense no longer, defendant. What is it that you need to say?
I only need this one testimony. That is all.
Mewtwo. Are you gonna keep insisting that it was you?
Witness testimony. Ultimate proof.
I hope you all have prepared yourselves.
Who is this person who's just barged into the courtroom?
Look!
Your Honor, allow me to introduce the mystery child, Lucas!
Lucas! No!
You mean the other child who typically played with the child who stole the murder weapon?
The very same, Your Honor.
Mr. Mewtwo, that's enough. You don't have to lie anymore, okay?
You don't know what you're talking about.
It's time to stop being a scared little kid. Don't lie anymore, Mr. Mewtwo. I know you didn't kill that man. I did.
What? You're the killer?
Yes, Mr. Judge, sir. Everything Mr. Mewtwo has said was a lie. He was protecting me.
He was protecting you?
Uh-huh. He's my teacher.
Your teacher? You mean...
Yeah, I'm telekinetic too.
Lucas.
That day, that man used that note to call me to the old house. And he used the chest to do it.
The chest?
I didn't know that Ness had gone on a trip. He showed me the chest and he acted like he had a mustache. I was scared for Ness and for me. It was right after I had finished my last test for Mr. Mewtwo. When I got there, the man said he wanted me to work for him. He said someone who was psychic would make it easy to make deals and find liars. But he was holding that sword and he looked so scary that I told him no. He got really mad. I saw him raise that sword up and then he threw it at me and I ducked for cover. It all happened too fast. I must have grabbed the sword with my mind and threw it back at him. I killed him.
And that's why my client was lying so much, Your Honor.
I can see why he would. To protect the student. That's very admirable. But it appears with a doubt on his confession that the defendant indeed isn't the one who committed the crime. As such, the court finds the defendant, Mewtwo, not guilty. That's all for this trial. Court is adjourned.
Objection!
Mr. Wright?
Sorry, Your Honor, but there's something bothering me about this solution.
But your client has been declared not guilty. What more could you want?
For starters, this child cleared for a murder charge!
What?
Phoenix?
What are you talking about? He's confessed!
That may be true, but think about it. Lucas was ducking for cover when the victim apparently threw the sword at him. And if he was cowering for his life, how did the sword get reflected? He wouldn't have been able to concentrate well enough.
That's right!
Then maybe I didn't kill him?
Phoenix, are you sure about what you're doing?
The truth is, I've been speaking without thinking since that objection. Okay, now think, Phoenix. Put all the events together. The time, the location, the people, the method. Now, what could have happened? Oh, no way!
Phoenix, is that even possible? What you just thought?
It's more than just possible. It's what happened!
Well, Wright?
The defense would like to present a single piece of evidence. One that will prove this theory.
One piece will prove all that?
It will, Your Honor. The piece of evidence is... Take that!
Why, this is an attractive little badge. I'm sorry I can't give you one, Mr. Wright.
No, Your Honor. That's the proof!
It is?
It's called a Franklin badge, Your Honor. It is acquired to students who have passed Mewtwo's telekinesis test. Ness has one, and Lucas, you have just received one, haven't you? In fact, you're wearing one right now, aren't you?
Yes.
Allow me to propose an experiment.
An experiment?
I have with me an old boot. Allow me to throw this at Lucas's head, if you will.
Objection. Right, that's so idiotic. Even Larry wouldn't try it.
Counter-objection, bitch! I have a feeling Larry would try it, especially if it could prove that a child's innocent.
Enough! I'm going to allow this, but... Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor?
Don't throw the boot too hard, okay?
Yes! Don't worry, Your Honor. Just watch... Ah! I thought so.
The boot bounced away!
And when it did, the badge was glowing.
Exactly. These Franklin badges possess an awesome power. The power to reflect things hurled at the wearer!
The numbings? What does that mean?
So that's where you're going, right?
Oh, that's where I'm going, alright.
Where is everyone going? Should I pipe my swim trunks?
It's fairly obvious what happened here, Your Honor. Lucas, while still wearing the Franklin badge, was attacked by the victim. And when the sword was thrown, it was reflected back at the attacker, killing him! Which can now be attributed to having appeared after the sword stabbed the victim to the hilt. Either immediately after the reflection, or while the victim stumbled weakly before dying.
Then, Lucas didn't do anything wrong.
All of this is hard to wrap my head around, but at the same time, it's the most plausible thing that could have happened. Very well. You have made me yet again, Mr. Wright. We can safely say that Lucas, in regards to Ganondorf's death, is not guilty! And that is finally that. Court is adjourned.
Nick! You did it again! You proved two people innocent in one go!
Well, just doing my job, you know.
Look at you, trying to act all cool.
Mr. Wright?
Oh, Lucas! I bet you're happy Nick proved you didn't do it.
Uh-huh.
Hey, is there something wrong?
I'm so happy.
Whoa!
Hey, pal, what are you doing? Making a little kid cry?
Detective Gumshoe, it's not what it looks like.
Want me to arrest you, pal?
Leave him be. He's just getting a lot of emotions off of his chest.
Mewtwo.
Phoenix, I hope you can understand why I turned against you like that.
Yeah, you were just being a good teacher.
You humble me. Do you feel better, Lucas?
I was really scared.
Hey, pal, no need to feel sad about it. Even tough men like me are scared of the dark and bugs and stuff.
Really?
Somehow I get the feeling a lot of that applies solely to Gumshoe. In any case, you were very brave today.
Yeah! Coming in with a real loud hold it! It sent chills down my spine.
Really?
Just because you are sensitive doesn't mean you are weak, Lucas. Try and remember that.
I will.
Phoenix, I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am, but thank you.
He spoke! He didn't just think it.
I guess that's what makes it important, little lady. Speaking of important, that Link guy's outside yelling about how dirty his sword's gotten.
Huh?
He's demanded somebody to do something about it, so...
Oh, Gumshoe. You didn't!
He did. Brace yourself.
I told him you would foot the bill for cleaning and shining and maintenance.
I feel like crying!
I can understand why.
That's not going to go well with the food bill, Nick.
Food bill?
We're out celebration, of course. Lucas, Mewtwo, Detective, we're all going to celebrate with a feast.
Yay!
Sounds good to me. I've been getting tired of instant noodles, pal.
I know what you're thinking of saying, Phoenix. You have every right.
Yeah, I know. It seems like every time I finish a big case, I feel like shouting.
Do it! It's so cool!
Here we go. And a 1.
And a 2, pal.
3. Objection!
Oh god, it's fun when we all sing together.
Yeah, so Link was really mad about his sword when everything was done. He was so mad that he started swinging my little wooden one to keep him away. But then, he said I had real potential. So guess what? He's been training me ever since. I guess he's cooler than I thought. I do want to grow up to be like him.
This was all so confusing. And it all kind of happened because I went away to try and get invited to that party. But everything worked out okay, right? Besides, now me and Lucas are both invited to that party. But Mr. Mewtwo doesn't get to go.
That's right. I get to go to the party with Ness. You know, ever since that day, people have been treating me better. I guess they think I was brave when I went to Kurt. I used to be scared about everybody finding out that I was psychic, but I think everyone likes me even more because of it.
I am still getting visits from Lucas and Ness. I'm glad that even after they completed my class, they still come to me for advice. That's another joy that teachers rarely earn. Even more fortunate, I'm having more people come to me for teaching, or simply some advice. Perhaps it was all because of that trial.
Hold it!
New case unlocked. Bountiful Turnabout. And now for the bloopers.
Please allow me to throw this boot at the witness's head. Surely nothing can go wrong.
How unorthodox, but very well.
Okay, you ready, Lucas?
Mr. Wright,
Ha!
Oh...
Why didn't it work?
I forgot to wear the badge today.
In the end, we proved Lucas's innocence, but Nick had to go to jail for a short time for assaulting the child.
What the? What? How was I supposed to know? Please allow me to throw this boot at the witness's head.
How unorthodox, but very well.
Ha!
It bounced away?
Because of the badge's special power. Naturally, Your Honor, as you can easily see, this is what happened to the victim, and you cannot possibly pass judgment on this child.
A thrilling demonstration in speech, Mr. Wright. And you are right about the judge being unable to pass judgment. But he will not be able to clear the child either.
What? Why?
Because your berserker projectile of a boot rebounded at him and has rendered him unconscious.
Okay.
In the end, we clear Lucas of all guilt, but Nick had to go to jail for assaulting the judge.
Why me?